Why do I want to be a doctor? When I was 10, I was diagnosed with scoliosis, and that was during my first doctor's visit with a new pediatrician, and ever since then she was my mentor, and just the relationship, that bond that we shared, I always wanted to give back to someone else in that way.
So I've always been interested in the medical field. Growing up, my parents were both doctors in India, so this was second nature to me. I used to go with them to the hospitals, volunteer at various events, various health fairs. So ever since I was little, I always loved helping people out. And you know, when my grandmother, who got sick with end-stage cancer, that kind of brought back everything to heart. Seeing how the doctors took care of her and how everybody was helpful to my family at the time just kind of inspired me to do even more. So that motivated me to become a doctor and help other people who need help.
I've wanted to be a doctor for as long as I can remember. I've explored other avenues, and in the end it always just came back to that, helping people. I've experienced a lot of family members go through a lot of different things, and ultimately it came down to, I want to help people. I want to be the one seeing people through the start to finish of whatever it is, whether they just need a checkup or something is wrong and that they need support and someone to take care of them and give them advice and treatment, and I want to be that person.
I want to be a doctor because I really want to help people, but I have a specific population that I want to help. Unlike most students, I actually hope to work overseas in the future. So I've been to Africa 3 times, and I've been involved with nonprofits that do work in Africa in the past. And my dream is to actually provide medical care to people who don't receive it. So I would love to work with Médecins Sans Frontières or Doctors Without Borders. Of course, they take people after they finish residency. So I would love to do that someday, or even start my own initiative in Africa.
Because nowhere in the world do you get the ability to touch lives the way you do in medicine. I've had the opportunity to save people, and when you meet them later in life and they introduce you to their parents and say, hey mom, hey dad, this is the person who took care of me when I was sick, nothing will ever compare to that.
I want to become a doctor because I grew up in conditions where the medical opportunity was not very accommodating, and I had a really bad infection when I was 6 years old and went to the doctor, and pretty much the doctor said, if you don't have any money, I'm not going to see you today. And my grandma took me home, and we had to use remedies, like traditional remedies, to try to heal my ear infection. So since then, I made it a point to not have that type of impact on people that I'm, care for. So that's one of the motivations that I have, and that's what's been pushing me to be able to perform well in school so that I can realize that dream and I can take back the experience that I've acquired to maybe open up a nonprofit organization where I can help people free of charge just for primary care type thing, and then they don't have to worry about money before having to take care of their health. So that's my main motivation for wanting to become a doctor.
Why St. James? Because it was affordable. I love the fact that it gives us small class sizes. We get offered tutoring services. We have awesome TAs, awesome faculty members. The Other students are very helpful. We have become one family, and overall, I love the student organizations and just life on an island.
Tuition's very reasonable. The Caribbean's a fantastic place to be able to study. And as a non-traditional student, Caribbean medical schools are honestly a lot more friendly to people such as myself who didn't come through the traditional paths.
So for me, I've always wanted to become a doctor since I was little. And so for a number of reasons, I decided to initially get my undergraduate degree and then my master's and wanted to take some time off. And so for me, St. James School of Medicine allowed me to kind of hop right back into it without any difficulties or any barriers that hindered me in any kind of way. And on top of that, the tuition payments are phenomenal. It's some of the best you'll ever see, America and outside of America. So it kind of was a no-brainer after that. I really appreciated how much information was given to me, how much I had how easily it was accessible to the different students here, how everyone was just willing to give a plethora of information about the school. And so that kind of honesty and that transparency also was a good sign for me, because even if I had questions about certain things like the academics, or if I had questions about living away from home, someone was always there to answer my question, whether it be someone from the actual administration or if it was even someone here at the school on the island.
St. James offers the students opportunities that you don't see at other universities. One of the things that I appreciate about a school as St. James is that it affords students from a broad spectrum of backgrounds, regardless of previous academic background or previous personal background or age, right? The opportunity to pursue a career in medicine, right? which is oftentimes for our students a dream of theirs.
Comparing it to home can be a little difficult because it's a totally different environment. Back home, I live in the suburbs. Everything's like pretty crowded, close together. Here, it's a little bit more spread out. I live right across the street from the beach, so it's been a great experience. I can go there in the morning, do some yoga, then get ready for class. And in the evenings, again, it's right across from the beach, so I can just sit out there, relax a little bit, especially after you've had a long day. That's usually what I want to do. And it's been a really great experience, but it is different than home. Everything here is a little bit more relaxed since we are on an island and everything works on island time. But I've never had the experience where I needed something I wasn't able to get it.
I feel like the student body is really tight. It's because the school initially is very small. We only have about 200 students here at the moment, and we're growing every year, every semester. But as soon as a new student comes in, we take them into arms, and we try to make sure as seniors, like for myself, I go down and make sure that everybody is well and everybody is transitioning well. I mean, we have a great buddy program called the Bundle of His that helps people transition from very beginning before they even get to the island. So for that is very helpful. And just through that in itself, we get to know a lot of people that are not even here yet, but are planning on coming. So that helps us grow as a community. And then when they get here, you always make friends, and then friends of friends, and then friends of friends, so it grows. So that's how I feel like we're so tight and close-knit.
I came in with a fairly small class, so I've had a great experience with it. For example, my MD1, I now want to go into pediatrics because of one of my professors in MD1. She kind of came to me and she's like, you're really good at this. She's like, and you seem to do really well with children. So she kind of personally set me down and told me like, you know, this might be an area you want to look at. And so it's been great for me. And along the way, especially now that I'm an MD4 in my last semester, we go into lab where we do our clinical work. And we have one professor to 4 students. So they're constantly sitting there with you saying, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this right, maybe try it this way. Whereas if you're in the States, you know, you might have one professor to 25 people. So I feel like going to the hospital, you know, even though I am coming from a Caribbean school, I've had that one-on-one opportunity with a professor or a physician. So hopefully it'll benefit me in the end.
Our classrooms, although they seem big, we're very close-knit. A lot of us tend to form friendships within the first few hours of our first day of school. And so we tend to start with the regular questions. Where are you from? Oh, this is where I'm from. Where did you grow up? Oh my gosh. And then it turns out you guys have the same pediatrician growing up. So we have these simple friendships that form, and then on top of the fact that we all have a common interest in medicine, it's easy to get along. So there's a good relationship between all the MD1s, MD2s, MD3s, and MD4s, and there's a lot of mixing as well. We're all one tight-knit family. Like if we see each other on the other side of the island, we'll definitely know that's a St. James student and we'll say hi. We have no problem doing that. It's a good relationship. We foster it on purpose here because it's so easy to get wrapped up in the complications and the difficulties of missing home and missing your loved ones and family. So it's easy to foster those friendships here because we have a lot of commonalities that we don't realize first.
With smaller faculty to student ratios, it allows students to not only have an increase, of course, of one-on-one contact with an individual faculty member, but also allows students to be able to explore the coursework that they're in at the time in more depth than they would normally be allowed to when stuck only independently studying. Oftentimes, especially when dealing with the sciences and higher levels of education, students will come up against barriers that they need assistance in overcoming. And when left to their own devices, either will be unable to overcome a educational barrier or will spend more time than necessary. By having smaller faculty to student ratios, this allows students an opportunity to approach faculty when stuck and perhaps have an explanation for a portion of their education that is concise and allows them to move forward in their pursuits.
The transition was smooth, only because we have administration in Chicago that assisted us throughout the entire process. And coming to the island, we also had secretaries and faculty members who also assisted us during orientation. And anything that we need, any questions that we have, there's always someone here to answer.
The transition from the U.S. to Anguilla is definitely an interesting one at what you do not have and what you acquire from coming here. From simple frivolity such as McDonald's and fast food to being able to go lay on a beach 15 minutes away. It's an adjustment period, but it's one that's well worth it.
Adapting to island life, the first thing is the weather. Adjusting to the weather was totally not something I expected. I come from the northern states, so I'm ready. I'm used to snow. I'm used to a little more weather diversity, some rain, some snow, some sleet, and then the occasional sunshine, but not necessarily all at once. And so here adjusting to Ilife, the biggest adjustment had to be simply just getting used to sunshine for most of the day, if not most of the year. And the heat was also a problem I had to adjust to. I had packed hoodies and some jackets and literally had to send those right back home the next day. The only other thing I had to adjust here to on the island is the different types of food. I'm used to more American cheeseburgers, that kind of food. And so coming here, there's a lot of different cultures coming together, especially in terms of just the different variety of students. And so I had to adjust a lot to the island food and the island weather, but everything else pretty much remains the same here. You have your same type of students, you have your same type of institution, you have everything else is the same.